Welcome back, media watchdogs. Today, we're tackling a hot-button issue, media bias. Paul Danning's controversial comments about Karoline Leavitt ignited a crucial debate about media's role in shaping public opinion. But we're not just here to point fingers. We're on a mission to explore solutions and navigate the tricky terrain of fair reporting. How can we, as viewers, hold media accountable? What's the secret to balancing free speech with responsible journalism? Join me as we peel back the layers of this complex issue, diving deep into real-world examples that'll make you rethink everything you know about media influence. Let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into the incredible journey of Paul Danning, a man who went from small-town journalist to one of the most recognizable faces on national television. It's a story of ambition, perseverance, and a touch of that star quality that can't be taught. Picture this. A young Paul Danning, fresh out of journalism school, cutting his teeth at a local news station in Middletown, Ohio. He's got a spark in his eye and a drive that won't quit. But the path from local reporter to TV star isn't exactly paved with gold. Paul faced his share of challenges breaking into the cutthroat world of TV journalism. What set Paul apart was his unique interviewing style that made people sit up and take notice. He had an uncanny ability to make subjects feel at ease while asking tough questions viewers were dying to know. This caught the eye of the bigwigs at NBS News. Paul's pivotal moment came with his coverage of a devastating tornado in his hometown. While others focused on destruction, Paul highlighted stories of resilience and community. His raw, emotional reporting struck a chord nationwide, and suddenly everyone was asking, "Who is this Paul Danning guy?" The Morning Current took notice, and Paul soon found himself in New York City. Behind the scenes, he worked harder than ever to prove he belonged in the big leagues. On his first day at NBS, he was so nervous he spilled coffee on his shirt minutes before going live. But he threw on a jacket, smiled, and delivered the news like a pro. As Paul settled in, he gained a reputation as a force to be reckoned with. His sharp debates and relentless questioning made him a viewer favorite. He wasn't afraid to go toe-to-toe with politicians, celebrities, or anyone in the hot seat. Paul had a knack for getting guests to open up. He once got a tight-lipped Hollywood star to reveal details about an upcoming secret project by sharing a personal story. This blend of hard-hitting journalism and human connection set him apart. As his star rose, Paul became known as a button pusher in the industry, always looking to shake things up. This didn't always please network executives but kept viewers tuning in. Before long, Paul Danning was one of America's most recognizable TV hosts. His face was on billboards, his voice in millions of homes every morning. He interviewed world leaders, covered major events, and won prestigious awards, cementing his place as a true TV journalism star. Karoline Leavitt, young and ambitious, had quickly made a name for herself in conservative circles. As the lights came up and the cameras started rolling, there was an electric tension in the air. This wasn't just another interview. It was a clash of ideologies, a battle of wits between the old guard and the new. At first, the exchange seemed typical of Paul's hard-hitting style. His questions were sharp, his tone assertive. But as the minutes ticked by, something shifted. Paul's questioning became increasingly aggressive, his words laced with an edge that went beyond professional debate. The crew members exchanged uneasy glances, sensing that this interview was veering into dangerous territory. Then came the moment that would echo across social media and news outlets for weeks to come. Paul, his voice dripping with disdain, accused Karoline of pushing a fake narrative of victimhood. The studio fell silent as he continued. "People like you are the reason this country is backsliding. You push this fake narrative of victimhood, pretending conservatives are being silenced, when in reality you're the ones silencing everyone else." The air in the studio grew thick with tension. Crew members shifted uncomfortably, their eyes darting between Paul and Karoline. But Karoline didn't flinch. Instead, she met Paul's gaze with a steely resolve and calmly asked, "Would you like to clarify what you mean by your people?" It was a masterful move. With that simple question, Karoline had turned the tables, forcing Paul to confront the implications of his own words. The seasoned host, known for his quick comebacks, suddenly found himself backpedaling. "I meant conservatives," he stammered, but the damage was already done. As if sensing he was losing control of the narrative, Paul doubled down. In a moment of frustration that would soon become infamous, he declared, "Maybe if conservatives spent less time playing the victim and more time actually contributing something to society, we wouldn't be having this conversation." The words hung in the air, heavy with controversy. Throughout it all, Karoline maintained her composure. Her calm demeanor in the face of Paul's increasingly personal attacks only served to highlight the contrast between them. When she finally spoke again, her words were measured but impactful. "I don't need to twist anything, Paul. Your words speak for themselves," she said, effectively putting the final nail in the coffin of Paul's career. As the interview drew to a close, the atmosphere in the studio was electric. The crew members exchanged knowing glances, aware that they had just witnessed something unprecedented. Paul, usually so confident and in control, looked shaken. It was clear that he realized he had crossed a line, but it was too late to take back his words. Paul's words spread across the internet at lightning speed. Within minutes of the interview's conclusion, clips hit Twitter, igniting immediate backlash. Hashtags like #DanningDisaster and #NBS controversy skyrocketed to trending status. Social media users dissected every word and facial expression from the heated exchange. The controversy gained unprecedented momentum, with tweets and shares multiplying by the second. Public figures and politicians quickly joined the fray. Karoline Leavitt, a prominent voice in the debate, didn't mince words when she stated, "I think people in positions of influence should be held accountable for their words." Her comment resonated with many, further intensifying the outrage against Paul and putting immense pressure on NBS News to respond. Behind the scenes at NBS, chaos ensued. Executives huddled in emergency meetings. PR teams worked tirelessly, monitoring social media and fielding calls from journalists and concerned advertisers. The newsroom buzzed with tension as everyone wondered, would Paul be suspended, fired, or would the network stand by their star anchor? Other news networks pounced on the story. Competing anchors dissected Paul's words, bringing in panels of experts to debate the implications. Some defended Paul's right to ask tough questions, while others condemned his approach as unprofessional and biased. The incident became a lightning rod for discussions about media ethics, political polarization, and journalism's role in today's divided society. Then came the financial fallout. By midday, 3 major sponsors of The Morning Current suspended their partnerships with the show. Their carefully worded statements about reviewing commitments to the network sent a clear message. Paul's comments had crossed a line. As the day progressed, 5 more advertisers followed suit, dealing a significant blow to NBS. The snowball effect was in full force. A tense interview had ballooned into a national conversation about media accountability and viral outrage. People debated whether Paul's potential firing was a necessary consequence or an overreaction. Some saw it as a victory for responsible journalism, while others decried it as cancel culture run amok. Social media played a crucial role in amplifying the controversy. Every retweet, share, and angry comment added fuel to the fire. The incident became a case study in how quickly public opinion can shift in the digital age, and how a moment of poor judgment can be magnified and dissected by millions in real time. As pressure mounted, NBS News faced a crucial decision. The financial impact of lost advertising revenue was significant, but the blow to the network's reputation was perhaps even more damaging. They had built their brand on fair and unbiased reporting, and Paul's outburst threatened to undermine years of hard work and public trust. The clock was ticking as NBS News executives huddled in crisis mode, desperately trying to contain the fallout from Danning's controversial comments. Their initial response? A suspension for the star anchor. But this was just the beginning of a whirlwind that would rock the entire network to its core. The reaction to Danning's suspension was as divided as our current political landscape. Many viewers felt it was a mere slap on the wrist, calling for nothing short of termination. Others saw it as an overreaction to what they considered a single misstep in an otherwise stellar career. As the debate raged on social media and in living rooms across America, the pressure on NBS News continued to mount. Then came the tipping point that would force their hand. Multiple advertisers, the lifeblood of any television network, began suspending their partnerships with The Morning Current. It was a financial blow that hit NBS like a knockout punch, prompting urgent damage control efforts. With their backs against the wall, NBS News executives knew they had to act decisively. The next morning, they released a carefully worded statement that sent shockwaves through the industry. Paul Danning, the titan of TV news, had been fired. The reaction from Danning's colleagues and fellow journalists was as polarized as the public's response to his initial comments. Some viewed his firing as a necessary accountability measure, a clear message that even the biggest names in news weren't above reproach. Others expressed concern over the implications for free speech in media. As the dust began to settle, a new question emerged. What would Paul Danning do next? After days of silence, would he apologize? Double down on his comments? Or perhaps even resign before the network could make a decision? The anticipation built to a crescendo as Danning's silence stretched on. Then, just when it seemed the story might fade from the headlines, Paul Danning finally broke his silence. In a video statement that would add yet another twist to the story, he asserted that he was fired for speaking the truth, doubling down on his controversial stance and positioning himself as a martyr for free speech. What do you think, viewers? Was Danning's firing justified, or did NBS News bow to public pressure too quickly? As we continue to follow this unfolding drama, one thing is certain: the world of broadcast news will never be the same. His story raises serious questions about accountability in journalism. Where's the line between provocative reporting and crossing ethical boundaries? It's a tightrope walk that every media personality faces daily. Only 29% of Americans trust the news to be reported fully and accurately. A shocking statistic that reminds us of the importance of journalistic integrity. As we look to the future of media, let's remember that every voice has power. How will you use yours to rebuild trust in our media landscape? After all, isn't that what great storytelling is truly about?